The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
After the Sabbath and towards dawn on the first day of the week, Mary of Magdala and the other Mary went to visit the sepulchre. And all at once there was a violent earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descending from heaven came and rolled away the stone and sat on it. His face was like lightning, and his robe white as snow. The guards were so shaken, so frightened of him, that they were like dead men. But the angel spoke, and he said to the women, "There is no need for you to be afraid. I know you are looking for Jesus, who was crucified. He is not here, for he has risen, as he said he would. Come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples, he is risen from the dead, and now he is going before you to Galilee. It is there you will see him. Now I have told you." Filled with awe and great joy, the women came quickly away from the tomb and ran to tell the disciples. And there, coming to meet them, was Jesus. "Greetings," he said. And the women came up to him, and falling down before him, clasped his feet. And then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers that they must leave for Galilee. They will see me there." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
I invite you to imagine a scene a couple of weeks after that incident that we just recounted in the Gospel. Mary of Magdala and the other Mary and a few of their other friends were sitting around having a cuppa or whatever it was they drank in those days. And then one of the girls says to Mary, "Listen, tell us again exactly what happened. If you listen, you might just hear her voice."
"I was up before the dawn, in the dry, stretched air which comes after a night of tears. I had my jar of ointment, fragrant, with me. Smells curled around those days, from Mary's alabaster jar, shattered at Bethany, from the blood and flies, and waiting for him to die. I went out alone on that morning's work of love, women's work, the service of washing a dead body. And he had washed our feet so recently. But he was gone. The place was empty. A body, even if it's dead, can be touched. The treasured form beneath my hands, even that was taken from us. The last coin tossed in the treasury. The men were called, came, inspected, and went home. But I had no heart to leave this place. I stayed, weeping still, with the emptiness as fact. Thus I found myself talking with angels. I was the first to see him new. "Go," he said, "and tell the others."
I was the first to see him new. "Go," he said, "and tell the others." And we can ponder how it is that those women were the first to encounter the risen Jesus. We're glad they did, because thanks to them, that wonderful story of his risen presence has been handed down over the centuries and handed on in turn to us. The disciples, as we heard, the men came and inspected the site. They looked for him, couldn't find him, and left. The women, on the other hand, searched with imagination and faith and tenderness and hope. How was it they were able to encounter him? Perhaps it was because they were looking for him rather than being worried about what was going to happen to them. What was in their hearts was love, it seems, rather than fear. And what resulted, of course, was great, great joy. Mary and her friends searching for the risen Jesus provide a real pattern for us and for us in our journey and in our searching as we look to meet the risen Jesus. In our present day, it's quite natural for us to be taken up by fear and uncertainty for all sorts of reasons, personal ones and the ones that are affecting our whole community at the moment. It's also possible for us, and we've seen it alive and abroad in our wider community so beautifully in these last weeks and months. It's possible for us to be caught up with love for each other, with concern, with care. And in that searching for each other, we get and we give glimpses of the risen Jesus. The angel says to Mary, "Go and tell the others what's happened." And that's our mission too, to go and make present and make known and loved Jesus, who is risen from the dead, but who is the hope of each one of us and the hope of the whole human family and indeed the hope of all creation. And we share his love not by preaching out or not by wishing to control or rule or dominate. We come as servants, as he has done, as remembering him washing the disciples' feet, and his so many acts of service to so many. We come bringing a spirit of justice, of compassion, of mercy, of patient faithfulness, as those women did at that first Easter. So we thank God for them and for their memory. We thank God for their mission, which they began and which we now so gladly continue. This Easter time, more than ever, we renew our hope in the presence of the risen Jesus and commit ourselves to be bearers of that hope to each other and to our suffering and struggling world. And just a little word to the children. Kids, if you're looking for Easter eggs, perhaps in your safe place at this Easter time, maybe at home or in the backyard, just remember that eggs are a sign of new life, the promise of new life. And that's what Jesus is for us. So as you excitedly discover the missing and colourful Easter eggs, just spare a thought for the beautiful new life that Jesus brings. A very happy and blessed Easter to each one of you and all your families. And we pray with all our hearts for the healing of our world in the image of the risen Jesus.